some of us still ask the preacher. But I'm here to answer one of the questions that was put in place during the week. And by so doing, I want to build up on that one question and trust God that we'll be better off. The question was like, if we are the present day tabernacle of David that is being rebuilt, if that is a believer, since we have understood that the difference between the tabernacle of David and that of Moses is that in the tabernacle of Moses there was restriction. There was no free access to the presence of God. But in the tabernacle of David, all the restrictions removed, because the ark was placed at the open tent where everyone could have access. And this prophetically, God was speaking about the future of believers, when God would have habitation in believers, and where believers will have a constant worship, 24 hours worship, fellowship, intimacy, and close work with God. Praise God. And from Old Testament, God's desire, but the real concept of tabernacle back then was a place where God can be with his people. Yes, God dwells in heaven. Heaven cannot even contain God. Praise God. Talk less of the earth. Yes, God does not live in a tabernacle with human hands. But God designed that believers' hearts, when it is purified and conducive, will become God's dwelling place, while believers themselves becomes a living sacrifice that will be able to offer themselves to God in righteousness. Praise God. So the question there was, if we are the present there tabernacle of David, where God is resident, not visitation but habitation, what manner of life will we live? What will be the implication, the effect of that in our lives, and in the nation as it were? Praise God. You think about that. If one of us, of God, in this situation and habit us, we respond to him as he desires, what manner of person will you be? What impact would that have on your life? What impact would that have on the church, in your family, in the community, and the nation as a whole, wherever we find ourselves, when we become living tabernacles of God? What effect would that be as you are walking through the streets? What effect would that be as you visit the hospital? What effect would that be when you are in your place of assignment in the 7 mountains of cultures of influence? As a lawyer, what influence would that have? As a doctor, what influence would that have? As a media personality, what influence would that be? As a politician, what influence would that be? If you find yourself in Aso Rock, what influence would that have in Aso Rock? If one of the senators in the parliament as God's tabernacle, and you are there, what atmosphere will be created in that chamber? Think of that. They realize that believers are meant to be solutions that the world are craving for. If you look at Exodus 25 verse 8, God says, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. What did God say? Let them make me a sanctuary that I, God, may dwell in. That communicates God's desire right from the old covenant. Praise God. Praise God. Which in the desire God had, is still the desire he still have. In Amos chapter 9, 10 and 11, it says, I will return and rebuild the broken of David and of old. The key emphasis is of old, and I began to check what was it about the tabernacle of David and what was it as of old, to be able to, why is God not just desiring for the rebuilding of the tabernacle of David, But the key point is that he wanted it as of old. What was the activities? What was the nature of worship that characterized that of old? I realized that the moment the ark was brought from the house of Obededom, and we are told that the ark transited there. It was not a tabernacle there. It was a transition of the death of Uzzah. Uzzah died, and the ark was taken to Obededom's house as a punishment. I can't tell, but I wouldn't know why the ark was there. Like I said, in the course of answering those questions, they wouldn't know where to place the ark. Did he get his bedroom to place it? Was it at the sitting room? Was it at the guest room? I can't really tell. But God did not mind as long as Obededom was a man.